I have out, which is request for production of documents and request for admissions. And on that, just the other day, I got a phone call for the attorney from Obama and the Democratic National Committee asking if I would agree to delay the response to the discovery until the motion to dismiss was decided. I immediately said no, and they just that about 15 minutes later they filed a protective order stating that these records should not be available until after the judge decides the motion to dismiss. And just yesterday we filed a response to that motion. So we're waiting for a number of motions from the judge to decide this case and where it should go forward with.
So what's the current status? The latest thing that's happened is...
The latest thing that happened is we filed our response to the motion for protective order, which says that we cannot proceed with discovery until the judge rules on the motion to dismiss. We feel we're very strong on that argument also. All of our pleadings are located on our website, which is the obamacrimes.com. And, the insult really here, the insult, if I am correct, is to all of the American public, but more important to the over 18 million people that voted for Obama and to the people that contributed over $425 million to him for his campaign. And, people are concerned with, well, what happens? Is there going to be trouble in the streets if he's taken off the ballot? Well, the only one that should be held responsible in that is Obama, because what I've asked for ever since I filed the suit is prove me wrong. Produce your birth certificate. Produce all birth certificates where your name has been changed. Produce your oath of allegiance when you came back to the United States or your certificate of citizenship. And if he did come back through immigration and have that certificate of citizenship, he obviously is not producing it because it would show that he's naturalized. So that's the status now. We're waiting patiently for Judge Surik of the federal court, the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. If there's an adverse ruling against us, which I don't think there should be, then we're prepared to take it to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, and we're also checking the proceedings, how they've taken expedited to the United States Supreme Court.
So if this judge dismisses the case, you can still move forward, and you will move forward.
Absolutely. That's why what we're trying to do is raise more money on this, but we've been doing the research in case we lose, and it doesn't mean we feel we're going to lose, but when you're in this and if the elections are coming up quickly, you have to be prepared for, every step. So we are prepared to take it to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the court in this area, and also we're looking how to make sure we can get it to the United States Supreme Court because this is of such national importance. And if it's not resolved by the election day, we're headed towards a constitutional crisis in this country, which would be really appalling that would happen at this time.
So what does that mean? Are you going to drag this on after, let's say he does become elected, are you prepared to drag it on after he was elected as President of the United States? Explain to me what would happen if it goes that far.
Okay, well, the next step, if he's elected in November, the next step is no one's really elected at that time. They get the various states, and in December, the Electoral College meets, and we would fight a challenge there. We would take it to the Electoral College. If he delays it or doesn't allow it through there, because obviously they're just putting up delay tactics, and he's sworn in January, we would really be in a mess. We'd be in a constitutional crisis. And how or why would be, well, let me say that. We would be in a constitutional crisis because we would have a person elected to office who did not meet the qualifications, and then the only way out is the Congress would have to impeach him. And if he got elected, they'd probably have a strong Democratic Congress, and you'd never have an impeachment. But I've been in touch with many people over in Europe, and they are aware that he does not meet the qualifications. So we would really have a constitutional crisis because it's been indicated that some of these world leaders would not deal with him if he's not properly elected, and we'd have turmoil. And unfortunately, we have enough turmoil right now with the disaster that's going on with our financial crisis that we shouldn't even have to be dealing with this case. This case could be resolved by tomorrow if Obama would just produce the documents. But I really believe he hasn't produced the documents because he doesn't have them. He's not qualified. And if he's not, he's a real fraud. and possibly he should be even, the authorities should look for criminal prosecution against him, if I'm correct.
So you are a Democrat. So why are you bringing these allegations against another Democrat?
Because there's nothing more sacred than our U.S. Constitution. Our Constitution was formulated over 200 years ago, over 225 years ago, and it's the foundation of this country, which other countries around the world look to and look at. And if we can't enforce our Constitution, especially a candidate for president, we're in real trouble in this country, more trouble than you really want to believe. And it's frightening, and it should not be. And it's really amazing that it's going this far, that the national media overall has not questioned Barack Obama about it.
Why do you suppose that is? Why is this getting more coverage?
I really think for the past 20 months, whatever is the national media has taken a position that Obama is their boy and he's going to be president no matter what. And it really doesn't make sense. Years back, we had Dan Quayle, who was running for office. He made a mistake. He misspelled the word potato, and no one let him live it down. It was all over the papers. But it seems that with Senator Obama, whatever goes on, whatever he says, if it's a gaffe or a mistake, it's just forgotten the next day. Whereas if any other Democratic candidate or Republican candidate made remarks like that, it'd be all over the media. The one I love the best is about 2 months ago, he went to Oregon. He said, I'm now in my 57th state, and my staff wouldn't have let me go to Hawaii or Alaska. Gee, I didn't know we had 59 states in this nation. But if any other candidates had said that, it'd be all over the front page and day after day reminded of it, but not with Barack Obama. And it's just circulating. But I don't really care about those things. What I care about is if I am correct, then step down, save this country the anguish that can occur. And if I'm wrong, just produce the documentation. I'll withdraw my lawsuit.
Okay, now, again on this national media thing, I haven't even seen any national recognized conservatives picking up on this. Have you done any interviews with, like, Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or any of those guys?
No, and I think the reason is we heard, even as I was filing my lawsuit, that the Republican Party had this information, and they were going to come up with, like, an October surprise. And it appears we, like, jumped the gun on them. And I believe there's a concerted effort to wait to a certain time when they're all told, move on, or something like this, not the group move on, but to move forward with it, perhaps like the last week in October, because if Obama was taken off the ballot last month when he could have been, then under the